Welcome to the Director's Corner podcast, the definitive resource for forward-thinking professionals in end-of-life care industries. If you're looking to really shake up your digital marketing and connect with families in a way that really matters, well, you're in the right place. We're not just talking about the same old strategies. We're diving deep into creating authoritative content that builds genuine engagement and trust, which is what sets you apart in today's digital landscape. Welcome. If you're a funeral director today, you know better than anyone that the landscape has, it's fundamentally changed.
Oh, completely.
Families are turning to social media for everything, not just announcements, but for research, for connection, long before they ever pick up the phone.
Right, and just having a static website or, a couple of generic posts a month.
It just doesn't cut it anymore.
It doesn't. And the core challenge is navigating that digital space while maintaining the absolute dignity and compassion your profession demands.
Which requires a delicate, intentional strategy.
It really does.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We've been analyzing a stack of sources focused on modern digital strategy, specifically for firms like yours. And our mission today is really to explore these tailored approaches.
And distill what actually works.
Exactly. What are the most effective platform-specific strategies across the big three, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and how they help build genuine relationships before services are ever needed?
Right. And to set the stage, everything we're about to discuss, it all has to be filtered through one foundational golden rule.
Okay.
Your social media strategy on any platform must consistently answer this one question. Would this content genuinely help someone who isn't ready to call us yet?
That is the crucial mindset shift, isn't it?
It is.
It's not about driving immediate sales or pushing package pricing online. If you're doing a hard sell, you've likely lost that follower the second they see it.
Precisely. The goal is to be a consistent source of helpfulness, of education. You have to recognize that families might follow your firm's content for months.
Or even years.
Or years. They're watching, they're reading, and they're quietly absorbing your demeanor and your expertise before they feel comfortable enough to make that first contact.
So, okay, let's start where most of that community conversation still happens and, where the primary decision makers are most active, Facebook.
Right. Facebook is the essential digital front porch for this industry. It really caters to those demographics who are typically making the bulk of the final arrangements.
The platform is almost tailor-made for that deep community relationship building.
It is.
So if the strategy is relationship building, not selling, what are the highest performing content types that really build that trust?
The content on Facebook has to focus on comfort, education, and addressing the real, often sensitive questions families hesitate to ask aloud.
Whether it's because it's too complex or they're just, embarrassed.
Exactly. We're talking about consistent, gentle material.
So less call us today and more. Did you know?
Precisely. The top performers are things like tasteful memorial tributes, always published with clear family permission.
Of course.
Anniversary remembrance posts, which show you actively remember the community's loved ones. And most importantly, these actionable guides about funeral planning basics.
Okay, let's talk about those guides. What topics are actually moving the needle? A generic planning guide can be pretty dry.
The sources show the most successful content really demystifies the financial and legal aspect.
The high anxiety stuff.
The high anxiety stuff. Checklists for immediate needs after a death, clear guides to veterans' benefits, or posts that just break down the process of getting certified death certificates.
And here's where we see some practical success. The sources really highlight Johnson Family Funeral Home.
Yeah, their example is so powerful because it didn't require a huge budget. They focused on pre-need inquiries, and they saw those grow by an impressive 40%.
40% is huge.
It's massive. And their approach was simple. They consistently posted weekly "Did you know?" graphics. That was it. And they focused entirely on debunking funeral planning myths. They weren't pitching, they were just providing clarity.
But I have to push back on the practicality of that for a moment. Consistency with high-quality graphics. That takes time or it takes money. How does a small family-run firm sustain that?
That's a fair point. And it speaks to efficiency. The firms that succeed are repurposing content.
So work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. They take one myth, say, "You must be embalmed if you choose cremation," and they turn that into a simple graphic, an answer in a live Q&A, and a bullet point in a blog post. The key isn't infinite new content, it's delivering the same core message in multiple formats.
That reframing helps. And speaking of real-time formats, That brings us to live Q&A sessions on Facebook.
Oh, live Q&A is essential for humanizing the brand. You have one of your licensed directors host a session, even just for 15 minutes once a month.
Very low pressure.
Very low pressure.
Yeah.
And it demonstrates expertise. But crucially, it shows the compassionate faces behind the business. When families see you answering questions calmly and openly, you stop being an institution and you become a trusted person.
So Facebook is where you build trust and educate. Now let's switch gears to the platform that's all about visuals. Instagram.
Right. If Facebook is the digital front porch, Instagram is where you showcase the genuine care and dignity that your brochures just can't capture. It's pure visual storytelling.
And the audience here, it's traditionally younger, but we are seeing older users engaging more and more. So that message has to resonate across generations.
Absolutely. The foundational rule here is authenticity, but tempered with extreme dignity. It requires high-quality, tasteful, behind-the-scenes content.
And this isn't about being intrusive.
Not at all. It's about capturing the quiet dignity of the work.
Okay, give us some specific, practical examples of visual stories that work without crossing any ethical lines.
Focus on the preparation and the people. Images of your staff preparing the physical space, setting up the chapel, meticulously cleaning a hearse.
Or even the care taken with a floral arrangement.
Yes. Or showcasing the team preparing for a community service, like a veteran's burial. You're emphasizing the respect involved. It reinforces professionalism and the human effort behind every service.
Let me ask you about the visual language itself, though. Instagram is all bright colors and trendy filters. Is there a pitfall there? Trying to look too trendy.
That is a critical point, a huge point of friction. Funeral homes have to resist that impulse to adopt the bright, ephemeral style of Instagram.
So no fast-paced transitions or, heaven forbid, trending audio.
No, that can instantly undermine the sense of solemnity and trust. Your visual aesthetic should be clean, professional, well-lit, and quiet. You're prioritizing reverence over viral visibility.
And naturally, when we get into memorial posts, consent has to be just, non-negotiable.
Absolutely non-negotiable. You are asking a family to allow you to share their private grief in a public space. Getting clear, documented consent protects your reputation more than any filter ever could.
Now, Instagram also has that spontaneous layer with stories. How should firms leverage that feature?
Stories are fantastic because they allow for more authentic and approachable content that doesn't need the high polish of your main grid. They're excellent for providing temporary relevant insight.
I like the idea of using the interactive parts, too. You could do a quick poll asking something like, what's the hardest part of preparing for a service? It shows empathy.
Precisely. And while they are spontaneous, don't let that value just disappear. The sources point out you can use stories for education. A quick video on what to wear to a funeral, or a checklist for first-time attendees.
And then save it to your highlights.
Exactly. Those highlights then become evergreen resources on your profile, so they're providing quick, useful reference points for visitors months later.
Okay, we've covered the platforms for the general public. Let's talk about the network that is so often underutilized in this industry, LinkedIn.
This is a huge, untapped opportunity, but it requires the biggest mindset shift of all three platforms.
Because families are not searching for services here.
Generally, no, but the people who refer them absolutely are.
So we are not targeting the grieving family. We are targeting the professional referral ecosystem.
That is the entire game. We're targeting hospice workers, local clergy, elder law and estate attorneys, and senior care providers. They need to trust your reputation implicitly before they risk their own by recommending you.
So if Facebook is community trust and Instagram is the window to compassion, LinkedIn is purely about professional credibility.
And thought leadership.
Right.
Exactly right. This is where you elevate your team from being service providers to subject matter experts.
What does true thought leadership even look like for a funeral director on LinkedIn? Can't just be motivational quotes.
No, it has to be practical, forward-looking content. Think about analyzing industry trends, like the rise in demand for green burials or reflections on changes in state regulations.
You're showing you're ahead of the curve.
You're leading the conversation in compassionate care, not just following it. Announce staff certifications, share insights on new bereavement technologies.
That makes sense. You're providing value to other professionals. So when you post about community involvement, the framing has to be different than on Facebook.
It absolutely must. On LinkedIn, posts about partnerships must be framed as collaborations, not self-promotion.
Okay, highlight that difference for us.
Well, contrast a generic post like, "Come to our annual remembrance service," with a collaborative one. Something like, "We were deeply honored to partner with local hospice on their annual remembrance ceremony. Together, we explored new strategies for supporting grieving families."
Ah. The second one speaks directly to other professionals. It emphasizes a shared mission.
And that small shift in language reinforces that you're a key, credible player within that broader network of care. It helps solidify those referral relationships.
This has been incredibly insightful. Let's try to synthesize the three distinct roles these platforms have to play.
It really just comes down to purpose.
Right.
Facebook is your community hub. It's for building trust and educating the decision makers.
Instagram is your visual platform. It's for showing care and dignity.
And LinkedIn is reserved solely for building professional credibility and nurturing those critical referral sources.
And wrapping back to that golden rule, the core objective is always the same. Keep the content genuinely helpful and resolutely non-salesy.
You have to respect that families are watching for months before making that first crucial call. You're building equity in advance of need.
That long-term view is everything.
It is. These platforms, together, they function as the modern-day digital front porch for your firm. The quality of what's on that porch dictates the quality of the relationships you build offline.
Which brings us to a final provocative question for you, the listener, to really think about.
If all these platforms are now acting as that collective, always on digital front porch for your firm, and knowing that families follow you for months before calling, how are you currently measuring the long-term value of building these virtual relationships? How do you quantify the trust gained from a family who just monitored your educational post for a year without ever liking or commenting? That extended timeline of trust is the hardest metric to capture, but it's the most vital to your firm's enduring success. Subscribe and like the Director's Corner podcast on your favorite platform to stay ahead of the curve. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode packed with actionable insights and innovative strategies designed specifically for your industry. Liking and sharing helps us reach more professionals like you, fostering a community dedicated to excellence in end-of-life care marketing. Let's transform how we connect with families together.